Cues for Leadership.
Welcome to the Behavioral Echoes podcast. I'm Lisa Oborn.
And I'm Christopher Eden, co-founder of Cues for Leadership.
Today, we're really excited to share our journey from our origins through our transformation to our renewed mission launching in 2025. We'll unfold our key frameworks and invite you into the tools to lead adaptively.
We'll be building on over 4 decades of combined coaching, consulting, and training experience rooted in the Rapid Change Group and At One with Nature beginnings, and evolving into the cutting-edge offerings we have now. It all began in 2002, when Rapid Change Group was formed to address leadership and organizational transformation.
We have recognized that mid-level managers are pivotal in translating strategy into sustainable change. We've also noticed that many programs just focus on senior leaders, but the middle managers are really the people that drive or derail any transformation.
And that's the biggie. That's why we created Cues for Leadership. Drawing from our deep experience in personal and executive coaching, training, and leadership development, today we offer transformative workshops, strategic consulting, emotional intelligence development, and executive coaching.
In mid-2025, we've relaunched with a bold expansion, the Adaptive Intelligence Framework. And that includes 3 pillars: the biology of business, the biological audit framework, and our career calibration system that is grounded in stratified systems theory.
Now, this suite of offerings really helps managers view their organizations as living systems, diagnose gaps biologically, and then lead through disruption with human-centered intelligence. Biological thinking helps leaders see patterns, create feedback loops, and infuse vitality into structures and cultures. This enables sustainable transformation from the inside out.
That's a great thing. And this leads us to adaptive intelligence. That's the ability to sense, interpret, and respond versus reacting to the turbulence we see all around us. It's the key capability managers need today to navigate through uncertainty.
You know, Lisa, I read all the time, so obviously, I'm going to come across these studies, and I think studies always have to be taken with a grain of salt. However, in a recent study that I read, it showed that companies investing in leadership development during disruption actually see a 4.1% higher 5-year return. And this actually came out of CIO magazine.
I just want to go to the next level. Our mission is to equip the managers, not just executives, with tools and the mindset to turn that disruption into opportunity. And we talk about that a lot. Something that's a disadvantage is not always something negative. And you know what? To learn more about this, you can see our press and news coverage by searching PR Newswire, Yahoo, or even our website, Cues for Leadership, through any search engine.
So the biological audit framework, we'll actually talk about some of those pieces that you mentioned in the suite, is a structured way to assess your organization just like a living system. This helps you identify where vitality is strong and where change is needed because of being stuck.
I think that's really great, Chris, because that makes us look at areas like trust and those decision cycles. We really help leaders map systemic gaps and design those interventions to be successful.
That checklist allows you in your work environment to treat that work environment almost like you would if you went to the doctor, where you're crossing off certain things. These are the conditions, or these are the situations. Yes, I've traveled, this kind of thing. This biological audit framework allows you to look at your organization or your team as a living entity. So when we actually train you to use it, we're going to immerse you in map making and pattern recognition, where your systems are leaking energy or resilience and where your strengths can be amplified.
A mid-sized nonprofit organization used that audit, and it was to identify bottleneck and that cross-department flow. I know everybody has experienced that at some time in their professional life, but the result of that audit allowed for a redesigned communication pathway. It restored the velocity and morale in the organization.
Now, we've seen this framework help managers build momentum from inside, because if you really understand leadership, you understand that no organization falls from outside pressure. Very, very rarely. It normally falls from within. And so by building a strong inside, it doesn't matter what changes in the economy, people learn to adapt, they become innovative. And we've seen this framework help managers. And what we want to do is we want you to sustain the change at scale rather than impose top-down mandates.
And what we're going to do now is go into that third pillar, the career calibration system, and that's based on stratified systems theory. It aligns a manager's capabilities with all of the complexity that exists in their system.
And the reason why this works is because as organizations grow, roles shift across levels. They shift across operations. They shift across tactics and strategy. So this career calibration systems helps leaders understand what level they're operating at and then model up.
And the same applies in our framework. We teach the leaders to speak in values and vision, not just jargon, to use open body language, storytelling, which helps people relate, and the emotional resonance to build trust.
For example, during a large restructuring, one leader told a story about a team member's impact, recognition that reinforced purpose while delivering hard news with a lot of empathy.
That's a great point that you made, Chris, because we train leaders to listen actively. And that is imperative to adapt their style based on stakeholders, their team, and it allows them to frequently check assumptions.
A special shout out to middle managers managing up and down. Your ability to filter strategic context and translate it empathetically is the glue in our modern organizations.
Let's pull this together with some concrete steps for our listeners. Let's start with a listening tour. Meet some peers, direct report, stakeholders, and ask those open-ended questions. Tell me more. Explain what you mean, and take the opportunity to listen for patterns. Run a mini biological audit, and then map the trust, those communication loops, any bottleneck, and identify a low energy zone and a strength to allow you to amplify those. A third tool is to activate the SST mapping. So determine your current role's complexity and what next level thinking looks like. It is imperative to set up a stretch goal. The next step is we're going to communicate vision with empathy, and that's to use storytelling, nonverbal cues, transparency, and emphasize the values with clarity. We're going to follow up with feedback loop and ask your team, did you feel seen? Were you heard? Were we aligned? Then take the visible action to make that successful.
And these are just small interventions that build trust, they build credibility, and they generate momentum.
And finally, just pick one risk or challenge to address head on. Share it transparently with stakeholders and request support. There's nothing wrong for asking for help. And this models vulnerability and invites collaboration and to get everybody on the same page.
So that's our story. Frameworks, practical recipes for leading adaptively in complex times.
We believe leadership isn't about ego or heroism. It's about connecting, sensing the system, building trust, and empowering others.
Now, if you want to dive deeper, you can download resources off of our site, request a biological audit, or you can join us for one of our immersive workshops.
And we're very grateful that you tuned in. Until next time, keep leading with adaptive intelligence grounded in empathy and purpose.
From all of us at Cues for Leadership, lead boldly, listen deeply, create systems that celebrate life, and here's to your health until next time. Ciao.
Bye.